the motherfucker with the gold teeth and the gray fucking dread dookie locks advocating for fucking shooting dope.
A responsible heroin use would be, at the end of the day, when you have time set aside to do an activity for you.
He's a neuroscientist, bro.
Man, I don't give a fuck what he is.
Paul don't give a fuck what he is. I'm with Paul.
Do you think
it's 2-on-1?
Here's the question: do you think that drugs should be decriminalized or made legal?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. There's too much proven science on the effects it does to the brain. One thing it does to the brain for sure, not only is it throwing off all of your normal senses, serotonin, dopamine, and enkephalin. Enkephalin is the natural painkiller in the human body, which is the third part of the cycle. It never even reaches that, which then makes you react to the reptilian part of your brain, which is the cerebral cortex, and fight or survival. Now, when your brain starts functioning like this, what makes us separate from the animal kingdom is we have a frontal cortex. In the frontal cortex, there is chemical receptors called gamma, buric acid, some shit that's probably not right, but it's right. So when you enter illicit drugs in your body, marijuana, alcohol, all of them, your brain then starts overly producing dopamine, which is then being sent to your serotonin receptors. And there is so much it starts blocking the receptors, which is where the problem comes in, because it cannot handle the amount in which we're taking into our body. It starts shutting off everything behind it, and it puts us in immediate fight or flight. When your brain stops functioning properly, when drug addicts are getting sick and they're stealing and they're hurting people.
All right, well, that's what I'm saying. If you have access to it, like, would a lot of those thoughts go away because it's not that cat and mouse chase anymore? Like, people are addicted to the cat and mouse chase. A lot of the addiction itself is just wondering, being scared you're gonna run out. You know what I'm saying?
Of course, but if they legalize it, you still don't got no job because you can't pass a drug test. You're not a dependable employee. You're not a member of society. Where do you get the money, even if it is accessible?
Check this out, man. I got these burgers, man. They some double cheeseburgers.
But this dude is assuming that everybody doesn't have the potential to be a dopehead.
Well, no.
Just because he could fucking do heroin once a month doesn't mean that fucking most people who become addicts for a reason. It ain't just because of the cat and mouse game. It's because the need for the fix, bro.
Do you think, like, being a functional addict of heroin would be easier if
not everybody can be a functioning addict, though.
There's no such.
Some people can. So there is such thing.
There is, right?
But there's no such thing as everybody can.
All right, so you're gonna have your wino, I guess you could say. You know what I'm saying? Like, dude, whatever. You know how you pull up to the store, bro, and they got that dude asking you for money.
Hey, come on, man. You bought me 40 ounces for my birthday. Today your birthday? What's today?
Right.
Like, you got $1 you could spare, homie. That kind of shit, right?
Well, see, on one hand, would
that be the same? Because that's the ones who can't function.
But now, let me say this about
legality.
Let me say this about legality.
Is easily accessible.
I'm gonna compare the legality of drugs in general to the weed shit, right? See, it would take away fatal doses, basically. You know what I'm saying? They would be able to regulate the dope so where people wanted to overdose, like people close to me and close to all of us have overdose off of the shit. Maybe those people wouldn't have overdosed if the drug market was regulated and the drugs were properly identified and verified and you know what I'm saying?
Man, I gotta laugh at y'all, bro.
I
got to because the truth is this: I'm a recovering addict. I've been in recovery for 4 years.
But have you ever shot dope?
For 14 years.
You shot dope
for 14
You put a needle in your vein
for 14 years. I don't want to say this on here, but since we're into
it,
this is where we
the way a drug
addict thinks. You could have a miracle drug right now says take this one pill every day and you'll never do drugs again. But do you know how a drug addict's brain works? A drug addict's brain works like this. Well, if one's going to work, what is two going to do me? That's exactly how we think.
Well,
that's exactly how we think.
I mean, yeah, and it, all right.
There is no control over the impulse or the rationalization while putting the drugs in your body due to the chemical imbalance that it creates in the brain. You need to study the science behind this. Yes, there's step work, there's things like that. There are ways to help you and become better, but there is no sure way. I am clean almost 4 years now. The obsession never goes away. It only gets better with time, and it only gets better with the more effort you put into it, which is why, you know, I do what I do. I learned from years of drug use. I started smoking weed when I was 6 years old. I was 6.
So here's I was 10. Check this out. So like you've got your functioning weed addicts. I mean, do you think like is it heroin or is it all drugs? That's how, I mean, how you putting this? Because like I'm saying, like we in here chiefing and drinking right now, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
so it's like this with me, and this is from a clean person standpoint. I'm an employer, and I look at it from all standards. You have less possibilities with a weed head, or maybe even an alcoholic. In my opinion, this is not fact. This is only opinion, that they will not do some fucked up shit to themselves or you all the time.
Man, this dude just crashed into me, and he's sitting in the car still drinking.
You have
he said all the time.
All the time. Like, come on, bro. Like, you got fucking weed heads, and sometimes they think they're doing great things, but they're not. They look like Shaggy in the corner, bro. Like, and that's the truth.
All right, but that's just people in general,
right?
Like that depends on the person. That's the personality. Like that. Not everybody. Everybody ain't like that.
All right, from an employer standpoint. All right, if I'm your boss,
Bobby, what? Your stomach okay? You seem to be spending more time on the toilet than you do at your desk.
Because I've been in charge of, big groups of people too. So would you rather a dope head or a stoner?
A stoner. That's what I'm getting at.
The weed be letting you know evil lurk.
So yeah, well, all right. So you saying like,
all right, would you rather a stoner or a drunk?
Oh, America, baby.
A stoner.
Stoners win.
Stoners will always win because, like I said, I'm impartial to it. Marijuana, in my opinion, does not bother me. It bothers me because you're gonna fail at drug testing. Then I got to fire you.
But then if you could pass it,
nice, sell lemonade, huh?
Yep.
Good for you. Good for you. You're entrepreneurs.
it don't matter.
And that's just because it's
don't
illegal.
You gotta outsmart the
don't
system.
matter.
That's what his argument is.
Yes.
Is that it's just because that like the society, it would not destroy society if drugs would decriminalize.
No.
Like everybody would have their own. You know, the perception would be different. Is what his case is.
His answer is he's trying to solve a problem because we've already past the point of no return and we're already destroying ourselves, right? I mean, you made it 14 years, bro. You're lucky, like
absolutely.
But here's the case too. Like you saying the regulation, like a lot of overdoses come because somebody made a bad bag. You feel?
Well, especially right now with the fentanyl.
Right. Just like with. All right, so you say they're going to regulate the amount and the dose. So, like I said,
I'm just saying it would be a controlled dose.
All right, and then you got one addict that can go in there, take half the dose, sneak it out, get another addict to take now more than what he was dosed.
People gonna abuse the system.
Yeah. It's not about the regulation. It's about the truth of abuse. Like, step one, admitting you are powerless over your addiction, that your life has become unmanageable. I know alcoholics that drink every single day. They wake up, they go to work, they got careers. But guess what? They can't fucking handle a checkbook. That is unmanageable. They can't keep healthy relationships. That is unmanageability. You see, some people look at the exterior of it. They think your whole life has to be in shambles because of this. That's not the way it works. The way it works is you're in such a fucked up fight or flight mode, it excels your character defects, the things that we all have wrong with us. For some reason, a drug addict, it helps us display them more. And there is no way to control that.
No, but the weed don't be doing that.
The weed be letting you know. Evil alert.
I'm cool with the weed. Let's leave the weed.
We've
out
already
of this.
established the weed's
The weed
cool.
doesn't do that. Like I said, and there's levels to it. There's levels to it.
This, and you saying like somebody who drinks,
I'm not
who
hiring
had
a
too much to
crackhead.
drink. Well, right.
Well, nobody enjoys being around a sloppy drunk. And some people don't enjoy being around a stoner, especially people who aren't in the weed. You know, they're like,
I think
Stoners
this.
never bothered.
Check this out. So this is what Oregon, they decriminalized all drugs, right?
Oregon just became the first state in the U.S. to decriminalize drugs. That means that if you're caught with coke, meth, heroin, or any other drug for personal use, you no longer risk jail time. Instead, you pay a small fine or complete a substance use disorder screening.
Instead, like if you get caught, you have they put you in a program.
Yep.
Rather than lock you up in prison.
And crime went up.
Disturbing stat on crime in Portland. There have been nearly 780 shootings in the city this year, and that is double. That number's double from this time last year.
Oregon shouldn't be the test case for this. You know what I'm saying? Oregon's got some fucked up shit going on.
It's the uncertainty on the national stage. There's unrest in Portland tonight.
You can't judge all the crime that happened over there in the last year on decriminalization of drugs.
Why?
Because. So was that a bunch of heroin addicts in the street breaking shit?
That started with this broken window at 6th and Burnside, though this was nothing compared to the damage we found just a few blocks to the southwest.
I'm sure there was.
I'm sure there was, because now they're only going to get a ticket, so fuck it.
Oh, you know how to fill one of these in? A long time ago. Let me see.
Yeah, I'm sure there was some heroin addicts in the street. I hate to see people go to jail, bro, and get and their whole lives get ruined because they have an addiction. Because I really believe that there's a disease. Addiction is a disease. That's why one person can do it once a month and one person gets it and just can't have enough. You know what I'm saying? Which is human nature. It's not the plant. If they're gonna make that illegal, then poison ivy should be illegal, because people be dying, getting fucked up from some poison ivy if they're allergic to it.
Dr. Isley?
I actually get what you're saying. Like you talking about what happens and it changes a person chemically, right? But cheeseburgers do too.
Right.
There's certain God-given rights, and I think
cheeseburgers do not make you kill a person for $5.
Damn. Any of y'all want a hamburger?
The system actually elevated the drug problem.
Forget about fucking CIA fucking pumping dope into the streets, bro.
Yeah.
Like they brought the drugs to us, bro.
Right.
When I think about the pharmacists, I mean, that's just one example of what was going on throughout this country, I'm sure, and they just didn't get caught like she did.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But educate, and I'm not saying just, hey, everybody freelance. I think
the government invented OxyContin.
I think
you know
education would go a lot further than criminalization. Like teaching people those things that you're talking about right now. Hey, just like you buy a pack of fucking cigarettes and on the side of that bitch, it tells the Surgeon General's warning and pregnant women shouldn't smoke that. It causes cancer, this, that, and the other. You should have, everything should have those same labels on it as you want it.
All right, and check out human nature. How do you stop human nature? So they have a warning label on the side of cigarettes that says it gives you cancer. And people smoke.
They smoke the fuck out of it. They still smoke it. And straight tobacco was a lot different than the shit you buy a Marlboro cigarette and it's cut with thousands of chemicals. You feel what I'm saying? Like straight tobacco is there's a different effect to it. You know, and I said the addiction is a human problem, and
it's a behavioral issue.
It's not the plant itself. It's not the drug
But
itself.
there's a marketplace set up for it. If it was based solely on your ability to like, okay, you want to do cocaine? Well, acquire land and grow your own fucking plants, and then produce your own cocaine, produce your own cannabis.
Right.
Like,
Well, no doubt.
you
That's what
should
I'm
be able to
saying.
do that.
I mean,
but the government shouldn't be helping you. They getting you so many steps closer by making it legal. They like, oh no, just go to a doctor. We'll give you that dope. You don't have to go through all these other steps. You know, they want to be your supplier.
The government's like this. The government, they don't want you to use your drugs. They want you to use their drugs.
They want to be your
Is the moral of the
supplier, but
story.
they also try to regulate it because they have their own regulations on regulations.
Well, a lot of things about plants, like they can't patent it. You know what I'm saying?
All right,
That's the issue. That's a lot of the reason why it's illegal, because it wasn't made in a lab. The laws are based, if you concoct some shit in a lab,
which is
with a bunch of
cocaine and
legal
heroin.
products, you can make it whatever you want. I'm talking about the plant itself in its purest form, and it's stomped on for profit use.
Right.
So they cut it, and that's the poison. You know what I mean? Like that's the chocolate's addictive, caffeine's addictive.
Yeah.
You know, why should one get attacked harder than the other? Like, it wasn't a problem until, like you saying, they pumped it in the streets and they taught people how to cut it, and they flooded the streets with it and made it illegal. Like I said last week, bringing it in and taking it out on a federal level.
They get paid on both ends.
So, right.
That's what they were
But
doing
you
down
see-
here, allegedly.
Greed is a human behavior.
All right. So people are gonna steal from each other one way or the other, because that's a human problem. You know what I'm saying?
But not just
So
steal from each
are
other.
they gonna
Or-
steal from each other because homeboy wanted to go to the store and get him get him one of them little opium packs? You know what I'm
How's he
saying?
gonna get the money?
Right.
He's still gonna have
Right.
to jack
But
a
he'll-
motherfucker
but
to get some
people
money.
jack
It's
each
just
other
like
for
this.
anything.
It's
people
just like this.
People
What-
jack for everything. People jack you for alcohol.
At
You
the
know
end
what
of
I'm
the
saying?
day-
People go jack you one way or the other.
Drugs are about money. And so if you look at, well, let's just use this for example. Walmart actually factors in a large amount of what they expect to be stolen from them and still profit boatloads of money. Drugs are the same way, but on a larger scale. Things like that is going to happen. But the truth of the matter is, if you're really paying attention to it, you got some people with power who don't give a fuck about nobody other than their wealth. They don't care if they kill you, your grandma, your kid, nobody, because of money.
So y'all need to hide your kids, hide your wife, and hide your husband.
But if we wouldn't have never been like hit with that zero tolerance, like war on drugs from the get-go, society wasn't fucked up like that. Really started to turn south until they did that. Until they put the war on drugs and the drugs started getting flooded in the streets when things got bad.
So what if, now you saying until
like look
they
at the crack
flooded
epidemic.
They flooded the streets of America. All right. But do you know how we figured out what they did? Remember when we went to I think it was Vietnam or one of them places, and they had little kids running around chewing on opiate leaves and fucking crazy as shit. They seen opportunity. They seen vulnerability.
Right. Addiction is a problem. It's a disease. You shouldn't be locked up in prison over that shit, because
you shouldn't be locked up immediately. You should be given a chance to learn. But at the end of the day, let me tell you something right now. If I didn't choose to do what I do today, I would be back on the corner pole and flying a sign, dead or in jail. I don't know why it leads us to that, but it does.
Because it's illegal.
You know what? Some of them motherfuckers belong in jail, Paul. Because they don't want to change. When I went to jail,
and that's
I
how you feel. Like you feel
there.
like people should do time.
I
Like
belong
that.
there because I had opportunity after opportunity after opportunity. I still can't explain to you why I couldn't stop. I still can't explain to you why I did what I did. Well, I mean, I kind of can because I see my character defects. But, I mean, I feel where you're coming from. It is logical.
Alright, so
but
check
it's
this
not-
out.
It's not reality.
Here we go. Here's an interesting way to look at this too. All right, so you felt like going to rehab didn't work.
I went to rehab 17 times. It took me 17
It didn't work.
times to decide, all right, maybe my life would be better if I stopped doing this.
I mean, 17, you was like, that's a lot, bro. Like, and this is facts though. This is not, you just one in millions, you know, that go through this.
Only
This is
2% make it, and you only considered making it if you die clean. Prison did not change me. I took drug programs in there because they offer a lot of what you're saying. A lot of the time now is you'll go to jail just so you're detained and clean out for a little bit, and they put you in programs. St. Bernard is actually one of the best. They really do try to help addicts, and you know I commend that. But what is overlooked is the fact that it is the decision of the addict to decide to recover. There is no regulation or control. Or look, I've been to rehabs. I've been to
you
jail.
can only change you. Did you need to be surrounded by violent criminals to get clean?
No, I needed to change my life.
I know, but you're saying like it took 17. Rehab didn't work. It wasn't until you had to serve real time.
No, I went to rehab probably at least seven times after.
So you
I went
needed
to
real.
jail.
That's what I'm saying. That's what you needed.
Yeah,
but I mean, I think
everyone's different.
I don't think
when I speak, I only speak for me.
Well, I don't think addicts should be treated like criminals. You feel what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying.
But
that's
addict behavior has a lot of criminal behavior.
Exactly. But if you're an addict and you don't commit the criminal act because of your addiction, then you're not a criminal. Robbing somebody's house to go feed your addiction, then you're a criminal.
Right, but if you go rob somebody's store to feed your kids,
then you're a criminal.
All right. Well,
but if you just got caught,
I go to work
if you
every
just
day.
got caught with a bag of fucking dope on you, should you go to jail?
Yes.
You didn't do anything wrong.
Yes, you did. You broke the law.
That's what. But you're not listening to what I'm saying.
I've heard you very clearly this whole time.
You broke the law right now.
Right, but if they decriminalize it, they're still.
Should you go to jail? You shouldn't go to jail with fucking criminals. You should. It should be decriminalized. Now, if your addiction causes you to be violent, then you got a problem. Yeah. As long as you're doing something that isn't inflicting harm on anybody else.
I mean, we can see how it works.
That's your God-given right. If you want to, if you want to just sit around a poppy plant all day and fucking rub it in your face, and then that's your fucking problem. But if you go and steal to feed your addiction, then you're a criminal.
Okay, but all right. So most drug addicts die. There is a 2% success rate out of 1 billion drug addicts, and most of them die.
With
suicide is illegal. Is it okay to do something that is generally going to cut your life expectancy short? Well, that's where I'm at with it. Why you should be stopped. You should be offered all the help in the world because you do need it. But then it is up to the addict to accept it. Jail normally is to dry you out.
I know this is crazy. Put this, but like you saying, like suicide is illegal, right? But I mean, doing heroin every day and living to 70, right? And then dying at whatever because of a lifetime of doing heroin, and then dying at 70 because you fucking lived off cheeseburgers, and you know what I'm saying, like you ate meat, you didn't take care of yourself. I mean, that's suicide. That's the same suicide.
I agree, which is why they bitch about childhood obesity and shit nowadays, because they know it's killing people.
Right. I mean, I don't think it's gonna create any more. I don't think it would have created any more or less like criminal activity if they didn't have a war on drugs. I think the war on drugs was
I think the
war on drugs was a psyop, if you want to tell the truth. And that's I think that's the problem. I think that's what happened.
It was social experiments being done by the government, bro. Straight the fuck out. It's still happening. We're not done.
No.
There's side effects to any drug. You know, if you drink, I got to pee too. It's pee time.
After these messages, we'll be right back.